It is unheard of for a daughter from an elite class family to not make it into a massive company. And I don't ever remember a lowlife like you who has been working for a no good company out in the middle of nowhere being invited to this event.
You're still going on about all those things? And you're going to call our hometown the middle of nowhere now? Why would you ever say that about the place you live? Back when Dad was around, he worked out here as well for a small office building, and you never once commented anything about that.
I don't care if it's where we're all from or not. The middle of nowhere is the middle of nowhere. And your father happened to work in a smaller office that was part of a very large company where he could make hundreds of thousands a year towards the end of his career. When it comes to you, you're working for a nothing company where a whole bunch of nobodies work. And that makes you a disgrace to our family. Joining a tiny company like that. How absurd.
And you think that's something you should be cutting ties to your daughter over?
I don't want any lowlifes in this family of mine. Take a look at Ashley, will you please? She is working for a very popular company and met her husband on a project that she was tasked with there. She is also able to pay for all my needs when I ask, like the house I'm in and the food that I eat.
Is that so?
And when it comes to that husband of hers, he happens to be the son of Green Group's current chairman. So amazing, isn't he? I just know that after they've had their wedding and everything, he'll be spoiling me with all his wealth as well.
In other words, you're trying to tell me that Ashley is getting married to a man with lots of money, right? And that you're going to use her in order to get some of that money.
And that's the difference she has compared to a lowlife like a sister like you. What's happened with you? Have you found yourself a good man willing to make you his wife yet? Or are you not able to attract any of them?
I have no interest in only getting married in order to take slices out of my husband's life and having to live off whatever money he makes for me. I plan to marry someone who is even with me and is someone that I want to marry because of our love, not money.
I should have known you'd go and say something stupid like that. Well, any man that you'd be wanting to get married to must either be a lowlife himself or a criminal, right?
I would never get married to a criminal, for crying out loud.
Well, you're living the kind of life a criminal would be living, right? Your smell alone reminds me of some rancid ne'er-do-well. After all, you're sneaking into your own sister's wedding of all things, where only those that have actually succeeded at life belong.
I'm not sneaking into her wedding. If I could live my life without ever having to see Ashley again, I could live with that.
You liar. I'm sure you're here to attack her and her wedding in some way, aren't you? All you moneyless people are ever capable of is being jealous of all the things other people have. Well, go somewhere else, because all of us elites and our money are not meant for your filthy hands, and neither is your older sister's happiness.
I was invited to this wedding, all right.
Huh? What are you talking about, Phoebe? Who would ever invite a lowlife like you to come out and see their wedding today?
I received this wedding invitation from the groom's family.
What?
I was able to enter this wedding today because of the invitation that Richard sent me in the mail. So stop saying that I snuck my way into this place like some kind of a ninja. If you think that I'm lying about this right now, then have a quick ask around, why don't you?
There's no way that's the truth. Tell me right now, what kind of a connection do you have to the groom and his family? I know what. You were hired by them to be their maid or something at home.
They would never do something like that.
But what else would you have to do with them that's related to work, when all you could possibly be good for is cleaning their toilets and scrubbing the floors?
I was given this invite because I have connections to Richard's family based off my line of work business side.
Huh? Based off your line of work, you say? But you're working for some worthless tiny company out in the middle of nowhere, right? There is no way a company like Green Group would want anything to do with yours. Oh, I know. Green Group ended up buying your company out and has been using it as their toilet ever since, right? Maybe it was a good way of getting some write-offs or something from the government.
How dare you say that about someone else's company, you asshole? That's not true at all. Currently, both companies have been working together on the same project, and not one company is any better than the other in this agreement.
You're telling me that a company like Green Group and your pile of garbage company are on the same level working together? Huh. That's the same thing as saying that the sky and the ground are the exact same thing, even though they're obviously not, right?
For some reason, you really seem to be in a good mood today, Mom. If that's really the case, then no matter what I try and say to you, you're never going to take me seriously. Goodbye.
All you lowlives ever talk about are lies and lies and lies and more lies. Hey, Phoebe. I heard about you from Mom just a second ago. You snuck into my wedding of all things today?
No, I told her that I did not sneak into here. I was able to come to this wedding today because the groom and his family invited me.
Phoebe, you really think somebody is going to believe in that elementary school level lie you're trying to tell? It's kind of sad to see you trying so hard. So give it up, please. You're an adult now, right? So how about you go and do what other adults are doing and work a decent job that isn't out in the middle of nowhere?
But it was your fiancé who invited me.
Phoebe, there is no reason at all for my husband and his family to be inviting you to a wedding here, right? I'm not going to say anything bad to you, as long as you leave this wedding venue within the next couple of minutes for me. So get going, please. I'll be kind and let you off the hook this time if you do so.
You're the same old, aren't you? Always talking down to me like you know everything and I don't.
I don't know what you're going on about there, but I happen to be the victim right now. I completely understand you being so deeply jealous about what I have, and you'll never be able to have. But nobody is going to agree with what you're doing here today. We're not kids anymore, and you should be more than capable of going out into the world and making a life of your own now. All right?
Such a bitch. If I could have stayed away from here today and not been looked down on for doing so, I sure would have, Ashley.
I'm sure that's true. But for some reason, you're still here because you just couldn't help yourself, could you? Humans are such repetitive creatures, after all. They can tell when something isn't right for them, yet they can never resist doing it all over again.
I only came here because I was invited by the groom, Richard, to come here today. He's your fiancé, for Christ's sake. Go ahead and talk with him about this if you're not going to believe me. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to explain to you why I'm here and why you don't even have to acknowledge me if you don't want to.
Richard happens to be the son of Green Group's chairman, all right? That means he has an image to maintain and has been blessed with the ability to never, ever have to deal with the hopeless. So, if I were going to go to him asking about someone like you, that would be very rude of me. It would be like me wasting his time asking him about how a simple ant is trying to be friends with him.
God, screw this. Do I really have to sit around taking all these insults from you and Mom again? All right, fine. I'll go ahead and talk with Richard about all of this then. I want to hear from him what you've said about me and then let him know all the things you and Mom are saying. But I warn you, me doing this isn't going to end well for you or Mom.
Huh. How could you possibly contact him when you don't even know his phone number? And trying to force him to talk with you in person is so freaking disgusting. So please stop thinking about what you're wanting to do to my man right now.
Shut the hell up and watch me.
Hold on a second. So you were being serious then? Phoebe, you happen to be someone close to Richard when it comes to his work?
That's what I've been telling you and Mom this whole entire time. Are you finally going to believe everything now?
How can I be sure that you just aren't taking the place of one of the people he is close to by saying you are them right now?
Do you really think I could ever do something like that? I'm telling you for the 100th time now that I was invited here by Richard and his family themselves. That is why I'm here.
You're kidding. That's not good at all then. Right now, Richard is very upset with me. I just tried to go back over and ask about how my dress looked. And he told me to leave him alone and go to the opposite side of the venue.
And that's because I went and told him everything about you and Mom after you didn't go and chat with him yourself. I told him that the both of you have always picked on me together, calling me a lowlife and the like.
But you tipping him off to what we were saying about you before is mean. And that's why you're called a lowlife all the time, Phoebe. That kind of behavior right there. I guess you happen to know Richard by chance, but that does not change the fact that you're a super lowlife and nothing ever will.
And I don't really care if you and Mom think of me as this lowlife or not all the time. It really doesn't matter to me. But I happen to put a lot of hard work into my career, and that means to me and plenty of others that I am anything but a lowlife.
That's the kind of thing a petty little sore loser would be saying. I bet in reality nobody likes you at all, and they only deal with you because it's part of their job, too.
In your case, all you did was graduate from an all-right university and then made it into an all-right company right after. But then you thought that meant you could call yourself an actual elite, and ever since that day, you've been nothing but a nuisance. Watching you talk the talk but never be able to actually walk the walk gave me secondhand embarrassment. It's almost like you're a copy of Mom, actually.
What? What the hell do you think you're saying about me? Of course, the moment I became an adult, I was able to do well and become the elite I am today. I never wanted to turn out like Mom, but she just happens to be an elite like myself.
Well, no matter what you have to say about yourself, I'm looking forward to seeing how your wedding will play out today. Especially after all the insults you made about one of your fiancé's guests today.
You...
Excuse me. What is going on when they say that the wedding has been cancelled now? You. I knew that you'd be up to no good somewhere behind the scenes today. You are nothing but a cockroach born from the trash you love to serve everyone else.
In other words, you're calling yourself trash right now, correct?
Shut your damn mouth. What the hell have you done that's caused this wedding to get cancelled?
I was being insulted the exact same way by both you and Ashley today, and so I went to the groom, Richard, and told him everything you were saying about me. And that got him really riled up about the both of you.
You told him about everything? So you just went and tipped him off then, didn't you? Are you not embarrassed to be doing something like tattling on others at your age?
Not at all, Mom. I happen to not only be friends with Richard, but we both have to trust one another a lot, considering we do a lot of work with one another, making him important to me. And so I wanted to make sure that he knew just how much of a pile of dog crap his fiancé and mother-in-law are before getting married today.
Are you really that close to Richard when it comes to your guys' work?
I am. And I have been trying to say that to you plenty of times now.
I am very much shocked to hear that now. But Ashley and I were only saying those nasty things about you because we didn't know. Had we actually known about who you were to Richard, we wouldn't have said anything at all about you.
The things you said about me aren't justifiable, just because you guys didn't know who I was to him, right? Also, you both knew about the kind of small company I work for, and yet you were both still making fun of me for that.
Come on. Why did things have to come to this? I was just getting settled in with knowing my little girl would be getting married to an elite man with loads of money and everything.
You are being too upfront about things now.
Excuse me, Ashley. What the hell is going on here now?
What the hell is this about your wedding actually being canceled now? You reply to me right now.
This is all your fault, isn't it, Mom?
What?
You were the one going on about how Phoebe was never invited to my wedding today, yet was sneaking in here to try to ruin it, right? Had you never once brought up a lie like that to me, then I would have never even noticed her out there and could have had my perfect wedding with Richard. Things could have been so peaceful for everyone here.
No, wait. But I thought I was doing the right thing by telling you about her, all right? I had no clue what Phoebe could have been up to when she came.
But it turns out that she really was one of Richard's guests today. And she told me that she explained that to you before you went and talked to me, right? Why didn't you believe what she said to you then?
Normally, you wouldn't believe a woman like her, right?
But she was telling the truth this time, Mom. Yet you went ahead and told me the completely wrong thing. And because of that, I made the wrong choices and chose to think of her as a liar myself. How the hell do you plan to fix all of this for me now?
Fix all of this? Ashley, could you please just calm down for me for 2 seconds? I understand that I'm to blame for some of this, but you were the one that made the final choice to trust my word and insult Phoebe just as much as I did, right?
I didn't make any mistakes at all this time and cannot be blamed for a single thing. I was just acting on behalf of all the things you told me about her. Things have always been like that. I've listened to everything you've ever said to me, Mom, and did all of them to the world. Yet after all of that, things have ended up like this. You're going to fix all of this for me.
Hang on, Ashley?
Again, doing the most unnecessary stuff then, huh, Mom? You went and spoke with Richard, didn't you?
That's right. I was feeling bad by doing nothing at all for Ashley, and so...
But you telling him marry my daughter right now, you pussy, was not the right thing to say to him.
When I thought long and hard about this, I came to the conclusion that this is all Richard's fault. I mean, he went and had the wedding canceled over such a small and tiny thing. That's so childish of him. What a selfish attitude he has. And that's why I told him what I meant to say. So how did things end up? Is he going to marry you now?
Of course he's not going to marry me, Mom. Are you really that messed up in the head to think he'd want to now after that stunt you pulled? You just went and threw some more gasoline on the fire. By this point, there is no helping my situation now. Richard is now working on making his way out of the venue, and most of his family and friends have already left. And a ton of his most important customers and employees came to watch this wedding. No matter what happens next, this is all going to be nobody else's but your fault, Mom.
Hold on, Ashley. No matter how you look at this situation, you are partially to blame for it as well, right? Going around blaming everyone beside yourself is not a good thing to be doing at your age.
Ugh! Phoebe, I am sorry about what ended up happening today. Mom came to me saying that you had come to my wedding today with plans of destroying it all. And that was the reason for why I acted so carelessly before. I will take the blame for that much. I'm so sorry.
Hold up, that's not how things were with you before, right? Today you acted like the same old Ashley, insulting me every moment you had.
No, wait, you have the wrong idea though. I thought today that you were here to ruin my wedding and my chances of marrying Richard. And that led me to unconsciously start making fun of you in an attempt to make you leave. I was never actually wanting to insult you as much as I had.
Richard really hates it when people act the way you did, though. He says it's the kind of behavior that he's always judged people like business owners and customers on.
So you really have been doing work with him for a while then?
He's the kind of man that values my small little company more than any of those large businesses that have lost a lot of their humanity. He is the kind of man that would never ever talk down to any of his coworkers or employees based off anything other than their work ethic, and I've heard that he is praised for that. So to think that today a man of his reputation would have to be getting married to trash like yourself that called me a sore loser and a jealous lowlife made me feel awful inside.
Did you know that Richard and I were a thing before today, though?
When I got the invitation from him, I saw who the bride would be and I was surprised. But I had no idea what the right thing to do was, so I just stayed quiet about knowing you. I hadn't seen you in so long and was kind of hoping that you'd changed since the last time we met, and that you were a well-put-together adult now. But somehow you've only gotten worse since then.
Phoebe, I just said this to you, but I feel a little bit of blame for what happened, and am sorry. I am ashamed of myself now for having done something that went and made me lose some of Richard's trust, and plenty of other people's trust as well.
So? What would you like from me?
What? No, wait.
You're only apologizing to me like that right now because you want something from me, right? There's no way someone with a pride as massive as yours would be apologizing to me for any other reason. When I was little, all of those dolls that I cherished so much that you'd break, you would use the excuse of saying they all had it coming before running off without ever apologizing to me.
I'm not apologizing to you because I want something in return or anything. It's just, I'd like you to go and tell Richard that I've learned from my mistakes and I'm really sorry.
Sorry. I can't trust a person like you, Ashley. And right now, I don't think that you've learned anything at all and are sorry.
Hold on a second. I really am sorry. Seriously.
If you've really learned from all that you've done this time and are sorry for it, then you should be stepping away for a while and leaving everyone else alone, right?
What?
If you are confessing that you did something wrong, then you should be fine with Richard wanting to keep some distance from you for a while, right? I don't think it's very mature for you to be forcing yourself onto those that you've already gone and hurt so much.
Wait, but I really love Richard. That's why no matter how, I have to get back with him. I want to be together again. Is me wanting to be with him so badly that wrong?
If you're really that emotional about all of this and want to have his love back, then how about you approach him yourself? Why are you wanting to use me in order to do that?
Well, that's because...
All you're trying to do is look good, right, Ashley? You're trying to make it seem as though you don't want to force yourself on him right now by having me approach him instead.
Shut up already, Phoebe.
I
am not going to sit around listening to some failure of a lowlife talk who is nothing more than a sore loser go on and on about how to handle the situation right now. You got lucky being able to make some work happen between you and Green Group. But you exist only to be looked down upon, and not for another thing else. Huh.
That good old Ashley is back at it again. How nostalgic. I like to think that kind of careless behavior really suits you.
All of this is your fault. For a little sister, how dare you talk back to your older sister? You sore loser.
And who was it again asking this sore loser for help just a second ago? Now tell me, wouldn't you be seen as more of a winner if you'd gone and chosen a field you actually wanted to work in? And a company you actually wanted to work for instead of going for that famous company for absolutely no reason?
Huh?
Right now, I'm working for a company where I actually feel happy every day doing the things I really love to do. I'm not the type of indecent woman you are who only chose to work for a company based off its name value alone and nothing else. To me, people like you who go and throw their life away all so that they can be called an elite are the biggest losers. Never caring about things like what's on the inside and only ever being so shallow. Does that mean there's nothing at all in that fat head of yours?
What? What the hell?
You don't actually love Richard. Rather, you love the idea of a man like Richard who has all that money and the ability to make you look even better. In other words, you only really love yourself and not anyone else. I'll let you in on one little thing now. Neither companies nor people are your accessories which you can dress yourself up with.
Ugh!
I think trying to live like Mom has isn't all that good for you. Now that's it from me. Goodbye forever, you loser.
For God's sake. Today was a really tough day for me. Both Ashley and Richard have been acting like immature brats all day. I would really like for those two to pull themselves together a bit more.
Huh? What the hell are you going on about right now?
Well, at least you have been doing well for yourself this whole time, acting like a proper adult. I'm sure you had a tough day today as well.
Are you trying to just wipe the table clean now or something? Wasn't it you that caused all of this to happen in the first place?
What? Of course, a little while ago I had misunderstood you for a bit there. But right now I'm no longer thinking of you as any kind of a loser. Isn't this wonderful? I have finally made it past that confusion.
How dreadful. I wonder how much longer you can keep up the ruse that you're someone respectable. By the way, you don't think you're being very self-centered right now?
You won against your older sister. She really dropped the ball when she was just about to get married to a man of such money. However, you have made it all this way on your own, working a job in which you partner with companies like Green Group. You should be more proud of yourself.
Shut the hell up. I don't want to hear any of that from a fake like you.
What's gotten into you, Phoebe? Stop it with that groveling now and be more confident in yourself. Just like your older sister was.
I am confident in the person I am. Are you sure it wasn't her that lacked any self-confidence?
What? But wasn't it Ashley that always looked down and talked on you? However, she's a massive embarrassment, considering she lost to someone who was below her.
Ashley just happened to be stupid, and because of that, she was easily manipulated by a shallow bitch like you, right? She thought that she was some kind of a big shot and that she could just act like an elite for no reason. Don't call the way she treated me her having confidence, because all she was really doing was repeating all the things you'd say to me.
Don't you dare say that. Ashley happened to have a ton of confidence, and that's why she ended up taking things a bit too far today at her wedding. And now she's gone from being a big winner to a complete loser.
The only complete loser I see today is you, Mom.
What?
You always lived off using me as your punching bag, right? However, now your prized older daughter fell to that rank and is nothing at all. How are you going to manage now that I'm on top?
What? Wait.
Are you going to be able to pay for that house all by yourself? And what about the bills and food? You were always being taken care of by Ashley, right? So odd that you could take advantage of her like that for so long, yet the moment she lost her chance of marrying money, you started to treat her like trash, calling her a loser.
But you and I are back to being kind to one another, right? So?
You think that we're back to being kind to one another? Not at all. The fact that you even thought something like that to be the case is frightening for me. After today's failed wedding, you lost everyone who was close to you before.
Wait. I can't lose you too.
I don't give a damn if this isn't good for you. How are you feeling now? Like you just became a low-life loser all of a sudden?
Girl, what the hell is wrong with you?
I really do hate Ashley's guts a whole lot, but thanks to being at her wedding today, I'm now able to leave the both of you behind. I'll no longer have to deal with either one of your guys' petty crap and can finally relax.
Don't you dare abandon me. I am your mother, right?
My mother? I'm sorry, but I have no plans of having a lowlife like you in my family. After that, not only did my mom lose both my sister and I, but she also lost all ties to the rest of her friends and family. After Ashley had stopped paying for her home and all of her food and bills, my mom was forced out of the place and is now having to enjoy life as a homeless woman. However, she didn't want to even accept that she was a lowlife by that point and began to rob clothing stores of their brand clothing, until one day she was caught and arrested. She would be forced to face multiple charges for theft and made to pay close to $12,000 total after all the things she'd stolen from stores and malls all over the city. However, after not being able to pay for any of it, she made a run for it, trying to evade the police, causing even further chaos as she tried to run down the highway, causing a 15-car pileup. By the time the police got to her and took her down, close to 10 people needed to be taken to the hospital, and 7 cars and trucks had to be totaled. At this point in time, she's still going through the justice system and will probably end up in prison now, serving time until the day she dies. What a great ending to her story, right? As for my older sister, I'm not really sure if it was the depression of having lost her fiancé and everything all at once, or having to finally become free of my mom's influence, but she went and quit her job at that large company and is now working from square one. She found herself a very small apartment which she shares with 7 other people and has started to work for a department store as a cashier. I haven't gone out to see her myself as I live nowhere near her, but from what some have said, she looks very dead inside and doesn't even smile anymore when spoken to. I was able to break free from my mom as well after cutting ties to her completely, and am living my life even happier than before. I was able to continue working with Richard again after he'd finished taking time off to relax and rethink things after Ashley, and he's even thanked me for saving him from losers like Ashley and my mom. I really am so lucky to have been smart enough to do my own things in life, never letting anyone else make my dreams and decisions for me. However, thinking about how my sister had kind of been used by my mom and turned into a clone of her almost made me feel a bit sorry for her having to become the victim in some ways. But of course, that does not take away from all the horrible things she'd done to me along with my mom, and so she's just going to have to work even harder now to make up for all those past sins.